That night, the city was eerily silent. No hurried footsteps on the cobblestone streets. No vendors calling out, no laughter, no music spilling from the little cafe at the corner. Only the wind, howling through shattered windows. The clatter of loose metal swaying in the gusts like sobbing. And the acrid smoke clinging to the air, seeping into every wall, every fallen brick. Above ground, the war had turned this place into a graveyard of dreams. Buildings once glowing with lights now stood as blackened skeletons. Squares once filled with voices and laughter were deserted, as if they had never existed at all. Every street, every corner bore scars of violence, like a wounded body still struggling to survive. But deep beneath the ground, inside cold concrete walls and cramped shelters, people still clung to life. They huddled together, listening to the pounding of their own hearts echoing against the rumble above. In the shelter, every breath became a sound. A cough, a sob, could make the whole room shudder. Eyes ringed with exhaustion darted about, searching for a sliver of light. Some bowed their heads in silent prayer. Some cried quietly, hands pressed over mouths to stifle the sound. Children sat curled up, eyes wide but empty, as though their childhood had already been stolen forever. In the farthest corner of the shelter, where the shadows were thickest, 3 children sat close together. They were silent, as though a single sound might bring the whole world crashing down. Anna, 9 years old. Her hair matted with smoke and dust, her cheeks streaked with soot. Her eyes were deep, dark, with circles of sleepless nights. In her arms, she clutched a cracked porcelain doll. The doll was scratched, one eye broken, but to Anna, it was a treasure. Sometimes, she pressed her cheek against it, pretending she could still feel the warmth of her mother there. Beside her sat Luca, 10 years old. Thin, wiry, wearing an old sweater patched with mismatched scraps of fabric. His shoulders were small, yet always stiff, as if trying to look stronger than he was. He did not cry. He did not complain. His hands were always clenched so tightly that his knuckles turned white. Everyone thought him brave, but in his eyes, fear still flickered. He just buried it deep. And across from them, Merrick, 8 years old. So frail he looked like a twig ready to snap. His lips cracked, his cheeks hollow from hunger. Yet in his eyes burned something different. A spark, stubborn and unyielding, like a secret flame he carried within. In Marek's hands lay a stub of candle wax. Half a candle already burned. the only thing left from a house reduced to ashes. For Merrick, it was more than wax and flame. It was memory. It was warmth. It was proof that once, he had a home, a mother, a life that felt safe. The night dragged on, heavy and endless. Outside, the bombs grew more distant. But the silence that followed brought no safety. Only a thicker blanket of dread. Anna buried her head into Lucas' torn sweater, seeking a fragment of warmth from her companion. Lucas sat stiff, trying to appear unshaken. But his breath was shallow, his lips pressed tight. Marek's eyes darted around. Then, from his pocket, he pulled out a single match. He took a deep breath. He struck it. A hiss. A spark flared in the silence like thunder. Light leapt onto Anna's startled face. And then the candle caught fire. The tiny flame trembled in the draft, seeping through cracks in the wall. No larger than a fingertip, yet its golden glow transformed the entire shelter. Children's faces gleamed in wonder. Eyes widened, as though they were seeing a miracle for the very first time. A weary mother raised her head from her hands. An old man opened his eyes, his pupils catching the light. Anna whispered, her voice quivering. "It's so beautiful." Merrick smiled faintly, guarding his secret flame. "My mother, she used to light it on winter nights. She said, as long as there is light, we will not be cold." And in that fragile moment, the darkness was no longer the victor. The little flame flickered, fragile yet strong enough to light up the vast darkness. The cold stone walls glowed faintly golden. Reflections danced in the wide eyes of children, painting weary faces with warmth. The shelter, once a prison of fear, suddenly felt just for a moment like a home. Anna stretched out her small hands, warming them near the glow. She whispered softly, as if afraid the sound might break the spell. "It's been so long since I felt warm." Lucas sat stiff beside her, staring at the flame with solemn eyes. He did not speak, but the faint tremor at the corner of his lips betrayed a truth. Deep inside, he too was comforted. Merrick carefully placed the candle stub on a broken brick. The flame cast shadows on the wall, shapes shifting and bending. Wings of birds, distant mountains, doorways opening into another world. And then, in that glow, Anna began to speak. At first, her voice wavered, thin and uncertain. But little by little, her words grew stronger. "Once, my house had a small balcony. My mother would stand there, holding a spool of string. One time, she helped me fly a red kite. It soared higher and higher, until it was nothing but a dot in the blue sky. She laughed and said, "Fly higher, Anna." I miss her smile so much. Anna's eyes shone wet in the firelight. She hugged her cracked doll tighter, as though letting go would mean losing her memories too. Luca turned his face away, silent for a while. But then his voice came, low and rough. "My brother, he once taught me how to tie a kite string. He said, if the knot is strong, the kite will never fall. He promised, when the war was over, we would fly one together in the square. But..." The words caught in his throat. His lips pressed shut. But in the light of the candle, tears glistened at the edge of his eyes. The shelter fell silent. Only a child's sob echoed faintly from somewhere deep inside, then vanished into the hush. Merrick looked at them both, and drew in a breath. He began to tell a story. Not his own, but the fairy tales his mother used to whisper before sleep. Once upon a time, there was a kingdom where winter never came. The trees were always green, the flowers always blooming. And in the sky no planes, no bombs. Only petals, drifting in the wind. And the people sang, all day long. His voice was soft, sometimes halting. But each word seemed pulled from the deepest corner of memory. The candlelight trembled, reflecting in his eyes. Two small sparks, fighting the dark. Anna closed her eyes, imagining herself running through endless fields of blossoms. Luca pressed his lips tight, but his clenched fists finally loosened. His knuckles no longer white with strain. The story wound on, each image gently weaving into the silence. Every word was a balm, every vision a shield against the cold. And then, from the far corner of the shelter, a voice rose. Hoarse. Fragile. But clear. All eyes turned. It was the old man. Beard white, coat threadbare. He was singing. The song came halting, broken. But the melody carried warmth. It was a lullaby. At first, only a few listened. Then, gradually, the entire shelter fell silent. Even sobs and coughs faded. Every soul leaned into the sound. The lullaby spoke of children running barefoot across summer fields, of wind through golden wheat, of a mother's voice calling her children home at dusk. The candle lit up faces that had not smiled in months. Some wept quietly. Others closed their eyes, letting themselves drift back to a time before war. For that moment, the shelter was no longer a tomb of fear and dust. It became a house of memory, a house of dreams. The candle trembled, as though it too was singing along. The old man's lullaby still lingered in the heavy air. His voice was cracked and trembling, yet each note carried strength. In the glow of the candle, his wrinkled face softened. His eyes brightened, as though he were reliving a distant memory. Marek, Anna, and Lucas sat frozen, listening. None of them wanted to break the fragile moment. To them, the song was a miracle. Something they thought had long vanished with peace. But then, as if the world refused to allow joy to last, a siren screamed above ground. The piercing sound tore through the silence, and everyone jolted upright. Mothers clutched their children. Soldiers gripped their rifles. The old man's song faltered, and the candle flame wavered wildly in the sudden draft. Then came the first explosion. The ground shook. Then another louder, closer. The shelter quivered as if the earth itself would split open. Bombs thundered above, one after another, so deafening that many covered their ears, curling up against the walls. Anna screamed, clutching her doll tight. Luca threw an arm over her, pulling her close, shielding her with his thin frame. Marek lunged forward, grabbing the candle with both hands. His small palms closing around the flame. The fire danced violently, twisting, shrinking, nearly snuffed out. It bent and swayed, fragile as a thread of silk in a storm. Any second, it could vanish into smoke. Anna cried out, voice breaking. No. Our candle. Marek squeezed his eyes shut, the heat scorching his palms. But he did not let go. He whispered, like a prayer. Don't go out, please don't go out. Luca looked at them, then clenched his jaw. He placed his hands firmly over Marek's, building another wall of protection. Anna, through tears, pressed her trembling hands in as well. 3 small pairs of hands. 1 fragile circle. 1 trembling flame. Outside, the bombs still roared. The earth still quaked. Dust rained from the ceiling, choking the air. Children cried. Voices shouted in terror. But inside that little circle, the candle lived. The flame flickered once, twice, then held. It quivered, but it did not die. Its glow still lit tear-streaked cheeks, trembling fingers, and the faces of 3 children bound together by hope. In that moment, time seemed to stop. The war above still raged. But below, in the palms of children, darkness had lost. not this time. Anna opened her eyes, gasping through tears. It's still here, we saved it. Merrick nodded fiercely, his palms red and blistered from the wax. But he smiled a small, radiant smile in the shadows. See? It's still alive. Still alive. Lucas said nothing. But the hardness in his eyes softened. For the first time in many days, he felt a weight lift from his shoulders. Around them, others in the shelter watched. Some whispered in awe. Some wept openly. Because they knew. Even a single candle, a single fragile light, could mean something greater than survival. It meant hope. The candle burned on, defiant against the bombs. Its flame trembled, yet stood tall. A warrior of light in the heart of the storm. The old man clasped his hands together, voice rasping in wonder. Light always finds a way to live. Then, as if to fight back against the thunder, he began to sing again. His voice was raw, quivering, but unyielding. The song merged with the candle's glow. And this time, others joined. Men, women, even soldiers, their heads bowed. Soft voices rose, trembling but steady. Above, the sky roared with bombs. But below, there was song. And in the hands of children there was fire. A fire that refused to die. The bombs grew fewer. The violent shaking slowed, fading into distant echoes. But inside the shelter, no one dared to breathe easy. Everyone knew, war never truly let go. The candle still burned. Tiny, flickering, dripping wax onto a broken stone. But to those in the shelter, it was no longer just fire. It was proof that life could hold on, even in ruin. Anna leaned against Luca, her head resting on his shoulder. Her eyes never left the flame, as if afraid it might vanish the moment she blinked. Her cracked porcelain doll glowed faintly in the light, as if it too had been given new life. Marek's hands, blistered by hot wax, did not flinch. He held the candle close, his gaze shining with quiet pride. And then, the old man, the one who had sung the lullaby, lifted his head. He stared at the flame for a long moment, before smiling faintly, a tired yet gentle smile. Long ago, he began, his voice raspy. Long ago, I was a musician. I played the violin in the town square, right before City Hall. Each evening, children would run about, and grown ups would pause to listen. Music then could make people forget their burdens, forget even their sorrows for a while. The shelter fell still. All eyes turned toward him. With the bombs gone, his voice echoed in every corner. Then war came. One day, my violin shattered, like the buildings above us. My fingers grew stiff, trembling, no longer able to draw a bow. I thought music had died. But, he glanced at the candle. When you children told your stories. When I sang the lullaby. I realized, music still lives. It doesn't belong to wood and strings. It lives here. He placed a frail hand over his chest, where his heart still beat. And it will remain, as long as people choose to remember. As long as people choose to sing. Tears glistened in the dim light. A mother nearby, cradling her infant, spoke next. Her voice quivered, but she forced herself to tell her story. My eldest boy. He loved to paint. His room was full of colors, sunsets, oceans, fields of flowers. When the bombs first fell, he said, "Mother, when the war is over, I'll paint the brightest sun you've ever seen." But he never came back. All I have left are charred scraps of paper. But still, I believe, somewhere, he is painting. He is painting a sky far brighter than this one. The shelter filled with muffled sobs. Anna gazed at the woman, then clutched her doll tighter. She said nothing, but her wide eyes brimmed with a child's deepest empathy. Luca lowered his head. He wasn't one to show emotions. But inside, he made a vow. No matter what, he would not let Anna lose her smile. As this mother had lost her son. Merrick whispered under his breath, almost too soft to hear. "We won't let the light die. Never." The candle's glow stretched shadows across the wall. The silhouettes of 3 children blended into one. Small, fragile, but unyielding. Suddenly, a harsh noise rattled from the entrance. A soldier stumbled in. Coat caked with dirt, face smeared with ash. He dropped onto the ground, chest heaving. His eyes were hollow with exhaustion. But when they fell on the candle, he froze. For a long moment, he stared, as if unable to believe that such a fragile flame could survive in hell. Then he murmured, "My home is 10 kilometers from here. My wife, every night, she lights a candle and sets it by the window. My daughter, she's only 4. She loves to watch it flicker. Every time I leave, she says, 'Papa, the candle will wait for you.' I don't know if I'll ever return. But seeing this, it feels like their message has found me." His voice broke. He fell silent, eyes locked on the flame, as though it had become the bridge to the family he longed for. Anna, Luca, and Marek listened quietly, understanding now that the candle no longer belonged only to them. It belonged to everyone in the shelter. It was a bond. Time dragged on, heavy and slow. People drifted into uneasy sleep. A mother leaned against the wall. A soldier's hand still gripped his weapon even in slumber. Soft sobs faded into snores. But the three children, Anna, Luca, Marek, remained awake. Their eyes wide, locked on the light. They feared if they closed their eyes, the flame would vanish forever. So they took turns. One child watching while the others dozed for a moment. Anna fell asleep on Luca's shoulder. Her doll pressed tightly to her chest. Luca leaned against the wall, eyelids heavy, but whispered, "Brother, I kept my promise. I kept the flame." And Marek, his blistered palms cupping the candle, sat upright, forcing his eyes to stay open. His body trembled with exhaustion, hunger gnawed at his bones. But he refused to let go. As his vision blurred, the flame before him split into streaks of light. And in that haze, he saw his mother. She was standing in their kitchen. The same candle glowing on the table. Her smile radiant. "This candle will always burn for you, Marek." Tears spilled down his cheeks. But he held the flame steady. Even in dreams, he guarded it with everything he had. The night stretched on, endless and heavy. Distant explosions still rumbled now and then. But they no longer shook the ground with fury. In the shelter, most had surrendered to exhaustion. Breaths came slow, ragged, weaving together into a tired chorus. The candle still burned. Smaller. Weaker. Its flame bent and trembled, like a weary soldier at the end of battle. But it refused to die. It still lit the soot-streaked face of Anna, the tense brow of Luca, the blistered hands of Marek. Anna drifted into sleep, her head resting against Luca's shoulder. Her cracked porcelain doll still clutched tightly in her arms. On her lips lingered the trace of a smile. The rarest smile since the war began. Luca fought to stay awake. His eyes burned, his body begged for rest. But he sat stiff, as though his wakefulness could prove his strength. As though he could shield Anna even in dreams. At last, his eyelids closed. Before sleep claimed him, he murmured, "Brother, I kept my promise. I kept the flame." Marek remained upright, hands cupped around the stub of the candle. The faint glow shone in his weary eyes. he whispered, voice breaking. "Don't worry, Mama. I'll hold it until the very end." The wax dripped, scalding his palms. Pain seared through his small hands, but still he held on. A tear slipped down his cheek. But he did not move. And in the blur of half-dream, half-wake, he saw their kitchen once again. His mother stood there, candlelight glowing on the wooden table. Her smile radiant. "This flame, Merrick, will always burn for you." The candle flickered. It shrank. And then, it went out. Darkness poured in, flooding every corner. But this time, no one was afraid. For each of them had already carried the image of the flame inside. In their hearts, the light remained. The old man opened his eyes in the blackness, and whispered as though singing to himself, "Light never disappears. It only finds another place to rest." The mother held her infant close. Believing her son who had once painted suns now painted a brighter sky elsewhere. The young soldier, head bowed, felt a faint smile rise. As though, for a moment, he saw the candle burning in his own home. Waiting by the window, where his family longed for him. And the children Anna, Luca, Merrick slept in peace. Their breathing even, their bodies still. For the first time in a long time, they slept without fear. Above ground, dawn broke. The first rays of sunlight slipped through crumbling walls, falling on silent streets, shattered stone, and even down into the cracks of the shelter. The light was pale, fragile, as though trembling before the ruins it touched. But it was real. And that was enough. The sky was still gray with smoke. But at the horizon, the sun tore a golden seam across the dark. If anyone looked up, they would see it. A light, as though the candle's flame had risen to become the morning itself. In the shelter, Anna stirred. Her eyes fluttered open. She saw the golden sliver on the stone wall. And she smiled softly, whispering, "The light, it's still here. It never left." Luca nodded slowly, his voice hoarse. But his lips moved with a fragile smile. "Brother, do you see? It's still here." Merrick opened his eyes. His hands raw, streaked with cooled wax. He looked at the dawn and whispered faintly, "Mother." I held the flame, until morning. The old man chuckled softly, a smile lined with tears. And he began to hum again. The same lullaby, but gentler now. Not trembling, not broken, but calm, like a song welcoming a new world. In the lingering dark, in the weary breaths of those who survived, one truth remained clear. Darkness may cover the earth, but it can never swallow the light. For even a single candle, a fragile flame in a child's hands, is enough to defy the night.